Hey, what's up, everybody? And thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of season 4 of the Water Bearer podcast. In case this is your first time tuning into the show, we usually do this show live every Thursday, but this is a pre recorded episode because this guest, I wanted to make sure that we had her on. So, had a scheduling conflict where we couldn't do Thursday. So, we just pre recorded it. So, hopefully, you enjoy it just the same. I know you will, actually. And this show actually was birthed from another show that I used to be on, another podcast. And I talked about basically in a relationship, how it's, or any relationship really, if I'm really heated or upset about something, I might need some time to cool off. So I, for whatever reason, said it may take up to 5 days, and all of these DMs and messages of people saying, "What, 5 days? Like nobody's going to put up with that." All this, and I started doing some research, and apparently, Aquarius men, it's kind of like one of their traits, I guess you could say. So I started researching it, and I thought, oh, it would be neat to do a show about the zodiac, centered around, of course, well, I'm an Aquarius, but also centered around all of the zodiac signs and kind of learning their quirks and everything like that. So that's pretty much the gist of the show. This is your first time tuning in. If this is your second time, third, fourth, fifth, whatever, I encourage you, if you've not already done so, please join the Drip family. In other words, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And that way you can be notified every time a video or any piece of content is uploaded to the YouTube channel. And again, as I mentioned, you can catch the Drip every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we're in the midst of the 4th season. So just over a year that we've been doing this podcast here. So my special guest tonight, her name is Ruth Romero. And I first met Ruth in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. Wow, that's crazy because I think we've known each other, for about 8 years now. So wow, that's something. So Ruth, we were co-workers at a company, and I used to, I'm sure, get on Ruth's nerves because she was one of the people that trained me for the job. She was an exceptional trainer. She's very thorough. She puts her heart in everything that she does, which I love. And she's just, really great, all around wonderful person. So she's a Taurus. And so we'll be talking a little bit about that. Taurus women, some of the traits she can kind of confirm or deny some of the myths about Taurus people and specifically Taurus women. And then we're going to dive into a little bit of her just as a person as well. So, as I always do before I bring Ruth on, we do a famous Aquarius and a famous person of the guest. So, a famous Aquarius, if you all did not know, is Dr. Dre. And a famous Taurus is Jessica Alba. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring Ruth in with us.
Hi,
Hey.
Carlos.
Hi, Ruth. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me in your podcast. This is
Of course.
amazing.
Hey, of course, of course. It's amazing to have you. When I asked you, I was thinking, like, please don't say no. Please don't say no. Like, I was hoping that you would do it. So,
I didn't remember that I said yes, but I guess I did.
oh, well, hey, we're here now. We're recording, right?
Too late now. That's for sure.
Yes,
For
yes.
sure. But thank you, though. Thank you. It's an
Oh,
honor.
of course.
An
Of course.
honor.
Yes.
I mean,
Thank you
I have a
for,
lot of respect for you. And I mean, like you said, we known each other for a long time.
yes.
And when you left the company, I was like, you left me lonely there, and I was like, I can't believe
Uh-uh.
this, but I survived. I
You
survived.
survived. Yes. Well, as the listeners and the viewers will see, you were not twiddling your thumbs while I was gone because you're always busy. So.
I had to keep myself busy because I was like,
uh,
I don't have anybody to train
just
anymore.
right, right.
I have to go out and look for something to do. So yeah.
Uh, I love it. And everybody that's watching and listening, please go and follow Ruth. on the social media platforms there across the ticker. On TikTok, she's Ruth Romero Realtor, and on Facebook, you can find her under Ruth Romero. Also, if you'd like to follow me as well, you can follow me on Instagram at Poetic or TikTok at Poetic7 with the special spelling that's there at the bottom. So for those who are listening, audio only, is P-E-A-U-X-E-T-I-C. So, Ruth, so
Carla.
to kick us off, do you mind sharing your birthday? I always ask all of the guests to share their birthday so that people know where it falls in the zodiac.
Do I have to say the year though?
No, you don't have to if you want
I'm
to.
just kidding. No, no. It's April 29, 1973.
Okay, April 29th. Okay, awesome,
Mhm.
awesome. So, all right. So, I have so much that I want to say, but before we get into it, is there anything that you want to let the viewers and the listeners know just about yourself in general, kind of before we
Of
dive in?
course. Of
Okay.
course, when I get nervous, I go Spanglish. So if I get nervous, I'm going to switch from English to Spanish. So, I hope you
Hey,
have bilingual people out there because you never know.
okay.
But I'm a mother of two,
Yes.
proud mom.
Hmm.
I
Great mom, too.
Thank you. I
Yes.
always
You're
work.
welcome.
I like to work. I'm always working. I'm always trying to go ahead and find something to do. I think when you met me, I was working on marketing. After that,
Hmm.
I got into personal training, um, and then there was a period of my life that I was paralyzed, and
Hmm.
then I decided to go ahead and do real estate. And right now, I'm doing both. I'm doing real estate, and I'm also doing personal training. So that's what I'm doing
Okay.
now.
Okay. Okay. And so, with this show, there's no certain format. So,
Mhm.
with what you just said, I don't think that we can breeze past that. You
Mm.
said, everything that you're, first of all, you're always active, always busy. I get up and I work out in the morning. And then when you would tell me the way that you would train and I would see your pictures, I'm like, oh, I didn't do anything. I need to go back to the gym. Like, this is not in no way comparison to what Ruth does.
I remember when I used to get to work and you were like, "Oh, I ran a mile. How many did you run?" I was like,
Like 8.
10, 10.
Right. Like, oh, okay. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go run laps around the building, like 30
But
of them.
not anymore though. I don't do that anymore. My thing is weight, and as you already know, I'm a big church kind of person.
Hmm.
I also do teach classes at Gateway Church for
Okay.
Embrace Grace, and I'm also gonna start counseling at church.
Oh wow.
So that, I mean, faith has been one of my main things throughout my whole life. So
Right.
yeah,
Hmm. Yeah,
as you
you do
already
have
know this,
really great faith.
there's
Yes.
two things that I talk to people when they meet me is my kids and my faith. You know,
Yes.
and when you left, it
Yes.
was my kids, Faith, and Carlos. So
Oh. Hey, I love it. And you know
but
what? You probably don't remember this, but you gave me a couple of recipes too, I think, without even knowing it. So one day you cooked lentils, and I think that
yeah,
was around the time I was just getting into a little bit of the meatless eating.
yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
I remember you saying that you cooked them in salsa.
Mm-hmm.
Salsa
Mm-hmm.
was part of it. And so, believe it or not, ever since then, that's how I cook mine.
Oh wow, that's
Mhm.
amazing. I'm glad you have something to remember me by.
More than chips and salsa, right?
Because thank you. Because Carlos, we keep talking about, hey, let's meet up next week. Okay, well, we can't this week. Okay, let's do next week. A year
Yes.
after that, okay, we have
Oh,
to go
not a
and meet
year.
this year.
Well, this
Yes,
last time it was
yes,
legitimately about a year. It was a long
yes.
time. But
And
yes.
I remember you getting really mad at me because you didn't know I was sick when I was at the hospital.
Yes, I was upset.
And yeah, and you
Yeah.
were like, "How come you didn't tell me?" I was like, "Well, I'm sorry, I was paralyzed. I couldn't."
Oh my God. Oh my, yeah. And that's you and Ruth, that's one of the things I really love about you is that you can make any situation funny. I went from like sad to upset to cracking up in a matter of like 2 or 3 minutes when you first told me about it. But
Yeah.
when you talk about your faith and then going through that experience, and however much of it you want to share or don't want to share is totally fine. But just the experience itself, um, did you ever feel? And I feel like a lot of times when people are placed in those positions, they say, "Why me?" Did you ever feel like that?
As soon as I walk into the hospital, I
Really,
was like,
really.
really? I was like, really? That's the first thing that I asked. I was like, really? I mean, life is tough as it is and
Mm-hmm.
nowadays. So yeah, I mean, I remember the first week in the hospital, I was actually just asking him to just go ahead and take me. I mean, I went from
No,
working at the company marketing from what I was one of, remember Pepe used to tell me, I'm gonna go ahead and take that laptop away from you because I
I
was
was
always
about to take it away
working.
from you too.
Yeah, I was always working. No, I
Yeah,
was working from what 6 a.m. to
yeah.
maybe 4:45 p.m. And then I was training Monday through Friday from like 5 to 10 o'clock p.m. I was in the best shape ever. I was like,
Well, you're still in great shape now. You still look
but
great.
I mean, back then I was all muscles. So I remember that when it happened, my right leg started to act a little bit crazy, and I
Mm.
always make fun of myself. This. So
Yes.
I was telling my son, it's just that I'm getting old. Your mom is getting old, and we walked into the hospital. We walked in. I mean, I wasn't in a wheelchair. I wasn't passing out. No, we walked in.
Wow.
And this happened like about 4 p.m. on April the 5th. And on,
So right before your birthday, essentially.
oh, yeah, Mother's
Mhm.
Day and my birthday, I was in the hospital. Yeah, I was in
Wow.
the hospital. So I walked in and then I was losing strength on my right side little by little. So by night that day, I had lost all my right side. And then by morning, the following morning on the 6th, I was actually paralyzed from neck down. And the doctor told me that I was lucky because my lungs were in really good, they were really strong, and that's why I didn't go out completely.
Wow.
So that was quite an experience going from doing everything by myself because I
Hmm.
never like to get help. I
Hmm.
always know I can do
Be
it. I can do it.
independent.
So I went from doing everything by myself to not being able to even feed myself.
Hmm.
So it was,
Wow.
so yeah, without a doubt, I was like, my kids are already grown, so might as well just take me right now. Let's get it over with.
I'm sure they were not having that
funny
that
thing
that
is,
kind of talk.
funny thing is, Carlos, that I didn't let them see me that first week because
Really?
I
At
was,
all?
yeah, because I was so disappointed at myself. In a way, I didn't want them to see me like that because I
Mm.
was always so strong for them, you know, and they always saw me like my mom, nothing can stop her.
Right.
Obviously that did. So I was, when I saw them the first time or the first week, because the treatment was horrible. I was getting blood transfusion and plasma exchange for 5 days in a row, every
Oh,
day,
wow.
and it was just horrible. So when they came to see me at the hospital a week after, I was like, goodness, it was so painful. It was so
Mm.
painful. But you know, doctor said you're not gonna be able to, even learn how to walk until like a year or two from now. But I left the hospital 4 months after I got in, and 2 months after I left the hospital, I think I was running my first mile again.
Wait. Okay. So I'm gonna say that again, that timeline, so that everybody really understands that. So you were in the hospital for 4 months.
Hmm.
You got out, and this is after they told you it could take you up to a year to not run, but walk again. So probably longer than
Yeah.
that to
Yeah.
run.
Yeah.
And you were running in 2 months.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's that's amazing. That's a blessing. And one part you mentioned too. So I know you said you woke up when everything first happened initially, and you
Mhm.
said that you were paralyzed from the neck down. Was it just that you went to sleep and then you woke up and then realized like, oh, I can't move anything, or was
No, I
it just
couldn't.
little
No, I
by
couldn't.
little you just?
Yeah, little by little. I couldn't sleep all night. They were doing every kind of test because they didn't know what it was.
Mhm,
So my brother had told me that he was reading about the side effects of the COVID shot.
mhm.
And he told me that, the symptoms that you have right now, they sound so similar to the symptoms you get with this illness. And it's called Guillain-Barré syndrome. So he said, go ahead and tell that to the doctor. So I did. And they ran a test, and sure thing, that's what it
That's
was.
what it was. Wow.
Hmm. Yeah.
Ah,
So, it's something that it stays in you though. So it's dormant, you can say that.
okay.
But if I get stressed out, if I get sick, it might come back.
Uh,
Yeah, but in I supposed to be in some kind of counseling service, because that
mhm.
illness can get you depressed, sad, and for me that word is kind of ew, you know.
Right.
You
I've
want
never
it.
seen, I mean, and we've had a lot of personal talks and everything,
Yeah,
and you've been through, I mean, not for to go into it, but you've been through some things, some
yeah,
serious things, and I've never seen you complain, never, seen you depressed, and you would have had every right to feel that way,
yeah,
if you did.
yeah. But I couldn't. I decided not to go ahead and do that, Carlos, because my thing is that if you just sit there and think about your illness all the time, you're not going
Hmm.
to be able to do anything. You have to get up and go. You just
Hmm.
have to go ahead and, if I just sit there feeling depressed about myself, about what happened, or I mean, every morning my body hurts, but if I think about it, I'm going to stay in bed. And what do I do by that? What do I accomplish by that? You know,
Hmm. Right.
Nothing. So I decided to go ahead and take my real estate exam, like right after I left the hospital. I was still kind of slow because that illness takes over your whole body. And I was like, I prayed about it, and I was like, if this is going to help me to go ahead and help other people, let me pass the test. If not, I'm not going to give myself a second chance. I'm not.
Mm.
And, but I passed.
You did. Well,
Yeah.
when we were talking, I remember when you were studying for it and we were talking about it, and I honestly I didn't have a doubt that you would pass it. I knew you would.
Maybe before that happened, because I was
Oh,
taking
okay.
the classes. i
Hmm.
was i wasn't that concerned about it, but I mean, I was in the middle of doing that when I went straight to the hospital for that amount of time. I mean, I was disabled for a whole year,
Hmm.
so I mean, it wasn't something easy, but I don't know. I guess I just pushed myself, and I prayed a lot. Faith had a lot to do with it. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I can
yeah.
imagine. I Do you ever get annoyed by people sometimes? Because I feel like we all have struggles, we all go through things, but that's huge. So you may hear someone, maybe there's someone in your presence that doesn't know your full story, and I don't know, maybe they sprain their ankle and it's just the end of the world. Like, do you ever feel like, well, I've been through this, like there's no way this could be that big of a deal? Because to be honest, if I were in your shoes, I probably wouldn't say it, but I would think it all the time. I would.
Mm. Well, no, because not everybody's the same.
Mm, okay.
My strength is not your strength. It may be some other people strength are in something else. Like I always tell people, like when I meet parents that they have problems with their kids, I'm like, I think that's my weak side. I think that, I mean, sometimes I ask Josh for a cup of coffee. If he says, Mom, I'm tired, I'm like, what? I feel like I'm gonna die because he said that to me. And
Oh, okay.
I seen parents that they go through so many problems with their kids, and I don't know how they do it. I'm like, oh my God, if that was me, I'd probably be dead by now, you know? So I think that everybody has a different way or different strength, you know.
Hmm.
So it's not for me to go ahead and say, really, you're crying because of that. Let me tell you about me.
Right, right.
No,
Uh,
because it's just everybody's different. You know,
yeah.
everybody's different. I
Mhm.
can go. I'm good. I'm good with pain. I'm good with pain, Carlos. I was taking
Yeah.
25 pills per day at the hospital. 25. I went from 139 muscle weight. I was all muscle to 112 in 2 weeks. I looked like a 90-year-old lady. Like my whole body was just.
Now, even though I didn't see pictures during that time, I just can't imagine that because you don't.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna go ahead and show you pictures because I keep them, as I told you, that I keep those
That's a
pictures as an
reminder.
inspiration. Yeah,
Hmm.
because I mean, coming from there, and then now I'm training people. You know, I told you I train people at 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 a.m. in the
Yeah.
morning. You know, when I do that, I'm at the gym by what, 3:45 a.m. You know, so
Wow. So, what
coming
time do you
from.
go to bed at night, or does it depend?
Sometimes I don't, but that's okay, you know, because I'm used to it.
Oh,
But
that's wait. That's not good.
I mean, I get my sleep when, you know. But
When you
sometimes if
can,
I,
yeah, yeah.
yes, the thing is that if I know I have to get up early and I have to be somewhere, I'm like, oh my God, might as well don't sleep because, you know, I don't want to be late, and it's just like I can't sleep. But it only happens twice a week though, so not a big deal. But I mean, going from that to training those people and seeing the videos and everything is like something to be grateful about every single day.
Mm,
So
hmm. I can imagine. And so, when when you're doing all of this and all the things that you do, because ever since I've known you, you've never not been busy. I know that was bad English what I just said, but you're always busy, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So do
mm,
you think that in some ways, because I do believe sometimes God uses situations to maybe help us learn something that we
I'm
wouldn't
reading
have.
your mind. I'm
You,
reading your mind, Carlos. I'm reading your mind.
so do you think in any way maybe that could have been a
God
nudge from
telling me,
God to tell
hey,
you to slow down?
yeah,
Do
yeah,
you think?
it was. I feel like it was. I feel like it was a way of telling me, hey, you know, you're not Superwoman, you know, you're not Wonder
Hmm.
Woman, and you need me. Because I wasn't even going to church. I didn't have time. I was working, you know, at marketing from that time to, and sometimes
Yeah.
when I was training until 10, I used to come home and still get on the laptop to go ahead and keep working, you
I
know.
was
So
gonna say because I remember several days at work, I would come in the mornings and you would say, "Oh, such and such last night I did," and I'm like, "Last
yeah,
night? Wait."
yeah. And then on the weekends, I was taking the real estate classes from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Mm,
Saturday and Sunday. So I was not having any kind of free time, none whatsoever, which is a
wow.
good thing because it keeps you out of trouble. You're not
Well,
thinking
true.
about
It
going
does.
somewhere. You're not thinking about, you know.
Right. It does. It occupies your mind, so you're not thinking about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I was like, I was fine. I was, and I think that God had to, use that to make me, way force me to go ahead and take a break.
Hmm.
But it's funny because when I was in the hospital, I remember many days I was when I was fine, I was thinking, oh my God, I wish I could stay in bed all day today, just watching TV and just relaxing. I said that too many times. When I was in
Oh,
the hospital, Carlos, I was like, I wish I could at least move one
wow.
finger, because the pain was like my body was burning up, the whole time. I hate medicine and I was crying for medicine. So my body was burning all the time, and my kids had to be moving me from one place to another because it hurt if I was too long on this side. It hurt if it was too long on this side, on my back. It was it was awful. It was
Oh,
it was horrible. So when I was there, I was thinking, man, I remember the times that I was like, I wish I could stay in bed. And right now, I wish I
mhm.
could at least move one finger. You know, you don't really think about the opportunities that you waste in life until you are in that kind of situation. You know, it
Mhm.
makes you think. It makes you like, goodness, God give us He gives us so many opportunities, to go ahead and better ourselves, to go ahead and help others and everything. And sometimes we just waste our time. Just waste it.
Yes, that's true. That's so
Yes.
true. And I like what you said too about the kind of the power of the words. And you were saying
Hmm.
you used to say, "Oh, I wish I had
Hmm.
time to just sit and do nothing." Because I've had not that scenario, but I've had situations like that too, where I've said certain things, and then it happens, and it's like, "Oh, okay, well, no, I didn't want it this way, though.
Yeah.
This isn't the way I thought I was going to get it."
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's yeah, but I do, to go ahead and answer your question. I do think it was a way of him telling me, hey, slow down, you
Slow
know.
down. Yeah.
So yeah,
Huh.
for sure.
So, and so I'm curious. So you made the switch from, and it's interesting listening to you talk about it because to me, you do so many amazing things, but the way that you say it is just like, oh, I just woke up and I did this and I ran 10 miles and I did, it's like it's things that most people can't do or
Mhm.
they wouldn't do. So you started in, or you made the switch from digital marketing and then went into real estate. So what was, I guess, what was the defining moment where you thought, okay, I want to do this now? Because that's a pretty big leap.
When I left the hospital, I had no choice. I had no choice
Uh,
because the company told me, well, I don't know if we can go ahead and have you under full time disability. So I was like, oh, I guess I'm gonna have to go ahead and do something then. So
yeah,
yeah, that was it. But I
that was
mean,
what.
because
Okay.
that was actually, but because I was planning to go ahead and work on, and in a way, what happened at work pushed me to go ahead and do the real estate too. Because I was planning to go
Uh,
back to marketing, but they just sent me like a little box, and I was like, what is this box for? And then I find a
oh yeah,
note,
I
please
remember
send
that.
your laptop. And I was like, oh, I guess I got fired.
Right, and which is great. I mean, I remember when you told me that. Oh, I was so ticked off. I was about to say another word, but I
Yeah,
was upset to say
yeah,
the least.
yeah.
And but I think it goes to show that with any company, um, we do have to be careful of giving so much of ourselves because it's just you
Because
you weren't irreplaceable at that job. You
oh
weren't
my God,
replaceable,
remember
but
all the things that I was doing. I was in
yeah, you did
charge
a
of the
lot.
Spanish support, and they
Yes.
after they told me we're gonna give you people, it was me, myself, and I.
For a long time.
So yeah, and plus I was training other people too. So I was doing a lot for the company, but I mean, I like working. I can't say that I'm not saying that by like complaining about it because I
Mhm.
love it. I love that. I love
Yeah.
everything I do. Everything that like now I'm doing real estate. I love helping people, and I think that's my motor. That's my inspiration. That I'm always
Mhm.
helping.
It's helping people.
So when when I was a Rich Local, and I told them, let's go ahead and open up a support group for or support team for the Spanish speaking clients because we have a lot. My goal was to go ahead and help them because they were not getting the help they needed.
Mhm.
So I didn't care how many hours I was working. I was doing what I liked.
Right.
And when I got into real estate too, my prayer was, if this is going to help me to help others, then let me pass the
Should have done
test. If
that.
not, I was going to take that as a sign. So I passed the test, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that first year, while everybody was just struggling, everybody tells me that the first year for a real estate agent is probably 2, 3, 4 transactions, maybe. I
Mhm.
think I had like about 27, and
In the
I don't
first
do,
year.
yeah, and I don't do social media. I don't do social media. You know that I just
Mhm.
post whatever, and um, you're gonna help me on that since I'm doing this for you,
I sure will. Yeah.
that
Yes.
so everything was referral. So I guess that was kind of confirmation, because I try to be fair with my clients. I know that many realtors are like, oh no, if you're not approved, I don't want to talk to you. I'm like, yeah, I do want to talk to you, because maybe they don't know what it takes to go ahead and get approved. Maybe they don't know what they need to do to go ahead and get a house. If we don't tell them, who's going to tell them? So I
Right.
talk
How
to
do they know?
everybody. As you already know, I talk to everybody. A
But
little
that,
bit shy, but
that's a testament, I think, to your personality, because for you to come in like that the first year and you defy the odds and just break all the norms and have that many closings, that's
yeah,
it's confirmation, I think, that you're where you're supposed to be.
yeah. And I gave my wheelchair away. Like after I left the hospital, I gave it
Really?
away because I was not gonna give myself a chance, because the doctor told me you need to go ahead and carry that in your car, because this sickness can
Really?
happen to you in the middle. And it happened to me once. I was talking to this client, and down to the floor I went, just like that.
Oh no.
Yeah, my nerves just attacked me, and down to the floor I went. So I remember the doctor told me you need to go ahead and carry that chair in your car, because you never know when it's gonna hit you. I was like, no, no, I'm gonna
Yeah,
give
you
it
don't want to
away.
live like
Somebody,
that. Yeah.
yeah, somebody else needs it more than me. So I gave it away because I don't want to think about it. I
Hmm.
still don't, like I forget it. Sometimes my kids, they tell me, Mom, you forget that you have this. And I'm like, yeah.
Like, and so I mean, but you're still the same Ruth that before that, to me, from what I can see. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because I feel like a lot of times with any, it doesn't even have to be a physical sickness, but even like a state of mind or like depression
Mhm.
or something like that, I think it's so easy to play the victim,
Yes,
and you
yes.
fall into that role, and then you find yourself, it's harder and harder to get out of it.
It's funny because my son was talking to me the other day, and he was telling me, Mom, I think I'm depressed. I'm like, I turn around and I'm like, go read a book. Who has time for that?
No. No time for depression.
It's to the day. He's like, Mom, remember when you told me this? I'm like, yep, yep. Did it help? He's like, yeah, it did help. Because I mean, sometimes I feel like we look for a reason to get depressed. You know.
Yes, I agree. Hmm.
And I mean, I respect everybody that, is going through something like that. I pray for them and everything. I wish I could tell them though to just occupy your mind with something else on helping others. That always helps. I
It
think
takes
that
your mind.
helps me. Yeah, it helps
Hmm.
me because it makes you feel so good when you help somebody. It's a double blessing. You are blessing someone and you're being blessed by helping someone. So it's a double blessing. I mean, it's a win-win situation
Right,
to me.
right. Hmm. Okay.
But I'm weird. I always told you, Carlos,
No, no, it's not weird at all. No, no, no. I think that's a great thing. And it's funny. I know we haven't talked deeply about zodiac stuff before, but I always think that every Taurus woman that I know, they are very ambitious, go getter. They know how to make money, um, and they're just like boss type women. I just feel like they are. Now,
Mhm.
would you agree with that, or? And I know it's, I guess you can't put everybody in a, not to generalize, but I,
Right.
I really don't know one, a Taurus that's not like that.
People tell me they see that in me, Carlos. I don't see it. but they always tell me, hey, you can be a lead on this, you can be a lead on that,
Hmm.
and this and that and that. I'm like, okay, but I don't know. I guess I don't see it. I don't see it in me, but everybody else does. I don't see it in me, but I don't know. I guess
Huh.
as a businesswoman now, I mean, you have to have certain strength and certain discipline to make sure that everything is okay, and to make sure that you don't have people running over you, taking advantage of you, and things like that. So I guess I am,
Right.
but I just don't talk about it. Maybe I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know. I
you
don't
just
think
do
about
it.
it.
You just do it without
Exactly. It just
broadcasting it.
happens. It just
Yes.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
I can see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I can. It's So one thing that really shocked me. So I'm just starting up this new season of the podcast, and so the season premiere, the first episode, I had several guys on it, and one of the guys is a Taurus, and I asked him, and after this, I'll ask you this question too. I asked him, I said, well, what is the one thing that you think is a negative thing about Taurus, or that people think is negative about Taurus? And his answer shocked me because I've always known Taurus people to be, and I'd say probably, I guess to his defense, more so the women than the men, very loyal, very family
Passionate.
oriented, yeah,
Yes.
passionate, business oriented,
Hmm.
um, and kind of like ride or die in relationships. So,
That's the bad thing about it. That's the
oh,
bad
it's too
thing about
much.
it. Yeah. That when I feel like, I feel like when we give our hearts, it's not halfway, it's not, 75%, is
Hmm.
all in, you know. And I was reading about when I saw that you were doing this, I got to read a little bit about it. And they said that Taurus is actually the kind of sign that will go back with their exes. I'm like, really?
Oh.
No,
Well,
no. But I think it's for the same reason that,
mhm,
like, we just would love to be just in one relationship forever,
mhm.
because of the way we give ourselves, to the other person. And it's the same thing with the family, like, how I am with my kids,
Yes. Mhm.
and how I am with my friends. I'm the kind of friend that if you're my friend, you have a friend forever. You
Yeah.
don't have a friend that is going to be just there whenever is your birthday or whenever you're getting money. No, I want to
Mm,
be there if you're in pain. I want to be there if you
yeah.
need something. Because that's what friendship is all about. So I think that is a really strong thing from Taurus. Is we're loyal, we're faithful.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
but I think a bad thing is that we give ourselves just without any kind of limitations, I guess.
Oh,
So,
okay. Okay, so
yeah.
you answered the question then. So you would say that you think one bad thing about Taurus is that maybe you give too much of yourself.
Yeah.
Too
Yeah.
much. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what you say about this. Okay, so the guy Damien, he's a Taurus. He
Hmm.
said when I asked him the same question, he said that he's always heard that Taurus people have commitment issues. And I said, what? I said, I've never in life heard that. But apparently he's heard it a lot that that's a Taurus thing. And so then I thought, well, maybe it's more so the guys than the women, but women, but even the Taurus guys I know, I, I wouldn't say they have a problem committing.
No, no. My son is Taurus too, and no, he's no.
Really?
I
Okay,
don't
so
agree
that's
with that.
not.
No, I don't agree with that because I mean,
Okay.
like in my case, if I get in a relationship, I want to stay in that relationship forever. I don't want
Mhm.
to be like, oh, maybe I want to, maybe not. Or when I see that it's getting serious, I'm like, no, no. I'm like, hey, are we gonna do this or what? you
Right,
know,
right. Yeah.
I don't
Don't
like to
waste my
be
time
jumping. Yeah, I
kind of
don't
thing.
like to be jumping from no, 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 or just testing the waters and then run away. No, I think it gives me more security if I know that that person is there for, is committed to me, as am I gonna, as, I'm gonna do the same thing. So I don't agree with that.
Okay. I couldn't wait because I try to line these episodes up where
Hmm.
I have, the guests. I know
Hmm.
who the guest is going to be like the next week. And so when he said that, I was thinking to myself, oh, I can't wait to ask Ruth this question because
Yeah.
I knew you were going to be, the following
Against
week.
it. Against it.
Yeah.
No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. But I mean, there's other things. I can't remember. My son was reading about Taurus to me the other day, and I was like, that really doesn't sound like me. But I guess there's certain
Huh.
things that apply. Not everything applies to every person, I guess.
Right. So what were the things that he
I
found
can't remember. I can't
are really
remember.
just different?
Like he told me that, he told me that they're really strong and they're really
Hmm.
like bossy, like they don't let people, like walk all over them and things like that. And he's like, Mom, and I seen you with some clients, how you are.
Yeah, you can't be. I can see that. You can't. I don't think you're bossy um, in your
I, I
personal life, but
I
with work, I
try
can see it.
I try to prevent arguments. I run away from arguments. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
according to Taurus, you're not like that. You really, you like to confront. You like to, me. If we start arguing, you're gonna be arguing by yourself. Because me, bye.
Yeah, and see, that's how
No,
I feel too. Like
no,
I'm only gonna participate in it so far.
yeah.
But so far.
Or if I see that, if I see that I'm talking to you and I'm explaining something and I want an answer from you, and you're like, hmm, I'm like, you know what? I'm not wasting my time. Bye. I
Yeah,
mean, you don't answer
it's done.
me, bye. I'm not gonna waste my time. Or if you ask me over and over, but what's wrong? But I already explained to you 20 times. How many times am I gonna,
Right? Do I have to say?
I'm like, you know what? So at that point, I'm thinking I'm wasting my time.
Hmm.
So I'm out. Because I mean, but yeah, I don't like arguing. I don't like I think it happened quite a few times when we were working together that we had a client on the phone, or maybe a sales guy, on the phone, and they were just going off. And I remember just putting the phone down and walking
Yeah.
outside,
Uh
just
huh.
cool down,
You were always so calm.
But I never, I don't like to argue.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't really like arguing either too much.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I was just curious. I know now one thing I will say about Taurus that I feel is the same with Aquarius, because we're part of. I don't know how much you read or saw about it, but we're part of the fixed signs of the zodiac. So it's Taurus, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Leo, and I feel like all four of those signs can be very stubborn.
Yeah.
So I think,
Yeah. I've been
yeah,
called that
and
before.
I can be stubborn too. So I can
Yeah.
recognize that in myself.
I've been called that a lot of times, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I am not.
Like, what do you
Yes,
mean?
you are. No, I am not. But yeah, I can. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think for at least from my experience that I've had with you, I think you're stubborn maybe with your goals, things that you want to do, but when it comes to helping somebody, you're always willing to look past yourself to help
Oh yeah.
the
Yeah.
person, which I think is so cool.
Yeah. It's crazy, but it's like something takes over me. Like it just stay there. I just finished a transaction with a lady that. Oh my God, Carlos. I have never been tested before. Like I was tested with this lady. I mean, my
Oh, really?
my broker told me fire her. My friends told me fire her. Everybody was telling me, and she kept treating me bad and treating me bad. And I remember that my supervisor told me, "Why is it that you don't let her go?" And I'm like, because with that attitude, no one else is gonna help her.
Like I'm gonna be the one. And you're probably right. Yeah,
I'm like,
nobody
I'm
else
like,
would
with,
have.
I mean, with that attitude, I was like, poor lady, I mean, is
Hmm.
uh and even I remember at closing, even the title lady was like, "You deserved an award for this, because putting up with this lady." I'm like, but you know what though? Nobody else was gonna do it. Nobody else, because the first realtor ran away from her, and I didn't see why. But I stayed with her for 260 days.
So almost a year.
And
But
we closed, Carlos, and this lady was still calling me. And the title lady was like, block her.
we're closed now. Block. We've gone through everything. I've gotten you where you need to
But
be.
so if I see that, no one else is gonna help,
Hmm. Just
I
stay.
try to help, because you never know. I always think that God put you in that situation for a reason,
Hmm.
and you never know. I
Yeah,
prayed a lot for her.
I can
Oh.
imagine. But I think you talked about
Mhm.
marketing earlier. I think people like that, she'll
Mhm.
probably be one of your best marketing pieces because if
No,
you can win over somebody, I think you don't think she would?
no, no,
Really?
because her last text to me was, by the way, and I didn't even charge her what I was supposed to be, charging her. She said, by the way, I don't think that you deserve what you earned with my transaction. I was like, Lord, please help me to go ahead and send a message.
Right. Oh,
Yeah, so I mean, no, some people don't change. Some people don't realize what they have until they don't have it anymore.
hmm, hmm.
You know. So
That's
I
true.
think her calling me, like, even 2 weeks after we closed, it was her way of, man, because she used to call me at midnight, and I was like,
Please tell me you
hello.
didn't answer. Oh no,
Oh,
you did.
oh yeah.
Oh,
And she was like, well, nothing. I'm just, feeling lonely, and I thought you were awake. So what's up, Ruth? And of
but
course, I was
see,
awake because I like to work late. So I was like,
you made
so
an impact on her, though. I think.
in
I
the
think you
times
did.
that I didn't answer, the following day she was like, I called you last night. I was feeling lonely and you didn't answer me. Okay.
Right. Hug
I,
your
I,
pillow. I don't
I, I,
know.
I, I was like, I sell houses. I am not a psychologist. I am you.
Yeah,
You
right.
need,
That's an
you
extra
know,
fee.
no. Now I need to go to therapy after her.
Right.
Jesus, I was like, man, I'm telling
Oh my
you.
God.
But no, I think at the end of the day, it's good to go ahead and do good to people without expecting it.
Hmm.
That is going to happen to you. It's going to happen to you. You're going to find some, well, without expecting it from that person, because it never comes from that person. It never comes back from that person. It always comes back from somebody else. Maybe people you don't even know. I've been blessed by so many people that I don't even like. I, I'm amazed sometimes. I'm like, and you are? They're like,
Right.
oh, and I think that's because of the way you are. God is always going to find a way to bless you according to what you do.
Hmm. I
So,
love that what you just said too. I think a lot of times when you give to certain people or a certain cause or a certain thing, it's kind of like human nature to expect it to come back from that same thing or person that you gave it to.
mhm,
And
mhm.
you're right, it doesn't happen like that a lot.
You remember we were having a conversation at work, and I was telling you that I don't like to go ahead and accept favors from certain people because
Yes.
I know they're expecting something back,
Uh-huh.
and I stay away from that kind of situation.
Hmm.
you know because there are people that they do favors to you because they want something from you, and
Right.
that's
Hmm.
the wrong reason to go ahead and do a favor.
Yeah.
Don't, to me, and I always tell my kids that too. you know if you're going to do a favor to someone and you do it upset, don't do it. If you're going to do a favor to somebody and you're going to expect something from it, don't do it. it's the wrong reason to go ahead and if you're gonna do something nice for someone, just do it from the heart. But don't do it if you're mad. Because I told you one time I asked him for coffee and he said, I'm tired. And I'm like, and then he said, oh, but that's fine, I'll make it. I'm like, no, you're not. Because now you're not.
I don't want it.
I don't
Right.
want to be happy anymore. So, I'm like, if you're going to do something for someone, don't do it upset.
Yeah.
It ruins the whole thing. Because if you do me a favor and I see that you're upset, I'll be like, Carlos, you know what? Thank you so much, but I don't need it anymore. Because it's not from the heart anymore. It's not. If you're not going to do it from your heart, just don't do it.
Right.
Just don't do it.
That's true. See, so many words of wisdom. It's like, okay, every time we talk, I feel like, okay, I need to fix this.
No, sometimes, that, my life has been really tough, and I don't see it like bad experiences. I see it like learning lessons, and it depends on the kind of person that you are. You can either turn the same way as the other person, or you're going to try to do the opposite, And I think that I have always tried to just do the opposite because it makes me feel better. It makes me feel better. Some people, they feel better when they do something bad, And I probably do things bad too. I'm not saying that I'm a saint. I would probably, just, I don't know, just go all Latina on you if you do something to me. But
I've never, maybe you do in your head, but I've never seen you do
I have a
anything
lot of
bad.
fights right here. I'm like, I was talking to someone the other day. I was telling them how this, this situation that I had, it was actually one of my lenders. I was like, this client told me this, and I was like, boy, this and that and that. And then he's like, so Ruth, did that conversation happen in your head, or you actually told him that? I was like, well, it's right. Because it helps. But I don't know. I think that's the part that I was telling you, that when people do things to me, I just can't, like, like I cry instead of saying something or defend myself. I cry, but I'm fighting in my head. I'm telling them everything. I'm telling them, what they're gonna die for and all these things. But but I don't have the guts to go ahead and just say it out loud. I don't. And I like that. I like that because you know what, Carlos, you can't take words back. Even I told my kids, and they know that when I get upset, I go in my room, and I come out after. Because when you talk when you're upset, words are gonna come out, and they're not gonna be the nicest. And you can't take that back. You can't. So I'm like, I always think about that. And it might be because of, my past experience. And I remember words from so many people that they were hurtful, and I'm like, you can never take that back, So like I said before, you learn and you decide if you want to be just like that person that did you wrong or the other person. You decide, so
good. I love it. See, you guys have so much wisdom and knowledge every time we talk, and just make
it comes with age. It helps to be 65. It helps to be 60.
You are not nowhere near.
Get it there.
Not at all. No. I can't believe almost an hour has gone by. So.
I know, and I told you I don't think I'm going to talk for an hour, Carlos.
See, look, hey, we made it.
It always happens. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So before we close out, I definitely want to play this game with you that I play with everybody on the show, and it's quick. It's 5 questions, and it's called Dead in the Water. So I'll ask you 2 questions, a this or that question, and you'll tell me, instead of the one you like the best, you'll tell me the one you would throw back in the water or the one you like the least.
Okay.
Of those 2. But before that, I do have one more zodiac question, quick question to ask you. So, if you had to choose, which zodiac sign do you think is your ride or die sign, and why? And it could be your own sign too, if you want. I mean, it doesn't have to be another
Pisces.
sign.
Pisces.
Okay, wait. Okay, now what's crazy about this? Did you see last week's episode?
No.
Pisces was the top answer on that episode too. And why is it?
So calm. They are so nice. And why am I saying this? Because my son is Pisces, Josh.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And oh my God, big heart, patient, loving, caring. So, and I know other people that are Pisces too, and they're the same. I'm like, yeah, Pisces.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
Hey, Pisces, y'all are winning. And this is a question that I'm asking everybody this episode. So I can't wait until I get to the end of the season to see how
Who
many
won?
that it gets, because I'm sure somebody else is going to say Pisces too. So,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So I'll get ready to ask you the questions. So it's 5 this or that questions, kind of different categories. So this one's kind of a nod to what we talked about earlier. So if you had to pick between salsa verde or salsa roja, which one would you get rid of?
Salsa verde.
Really? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Get rid of that one. All right.
Mhm.
All right. Between singing or dancing, which one can you do without?
So I don't know how to sing and I don't know how to dance, but I will throw away the singing because dance is a good exercise and you can learn it quick.
Okay. That makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So this next one kind of work related. PPC or SEO, which one would you get rid of?
PPC. Yeah,
I
PPC.
feel the same way too.
Yeah, PPC. I mean, yeah, you get results right away, but money goes away like really fast. Budget runs out like same day, and that's it. If you're out of your budget, you don't see your ads anymore. And SEO is free.
Yeah.
Once you get your name out there,
better.
it's free. So yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. So the next one is student or teaching, or teacher, I should say.
I would be. I think I'm a throwaway teacher, even though I love to teach, but I love to be a student because you're always learning.
Okay. I thought you would maybe say that. I wasn't sure, but I thought you would maybe pick student. Okay. And the last one, gym or hiking? I had to throw a workout question in there.
I love both. Jesus. Hiking. I would stay with hiking. Throw away gym.
Get rid of the gym. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Throw away the gym.
Yeah, hiking, you can see all your surroundings, the beautiful nature. I mean, yeah, you can beat that. At the gym, you just see sweaty people and
yeah, that's about it.
And all that, so no, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so hey, that's it. That's a wrap for the show. Is there anything that you want to share with any last words to the listeners or the viewers?
No, just thank you for having me here, and oh my God, I miss talking to you. Thank you for the invite, and I am so proud of you, Carlos. I am so every time that I see your videos and what you're doing, it amazes me. So keep doing what you're doing, and you have my support 100%. Whatever I can do to help, I'm here for you. And of course, if I can get some clients, I'm a good realtor, people. Call me.
Yes, that's right. Yes, I was gonna say it if you didn't. Yeah, I'm so proud of you. I mean, you seriously, you jumped into this realtor thing and you're just knocking it out the park. This is amazing. Seriously.
Thank God. Thank God.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, for sure. Thank God. So yes. Thank you again, Ruth. I really appreciate you being on, and make sure you all tune in next Thursday. So, not going to have just one Aquarius, myself, of course, but I'm also going to be joined by two other Aquarius males. So, we're going to get into
Scary.
the Aquarius. I know, right? We're going to get into the Aquarius male mindset. So, we're going to be talking about that next week. So, make sure y'all tune in. All right, Ruth. Thank you so much again.
Of course. Talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. And thanks everyone for watching and listening. Peace.